Hi, my name is Peace McAllister. I'm the outreach coordinator for Going Blind and Going Forward, an outreach campaign based on the film Going Blind Coming Out of the Dark about vision loss. In the film, we tell the personal stories of 7 individuals dealing with vision loss. But today, we're specifically trying to catch up with Peter D'Elia, a then 85-year-old Jersey architect dealing with age-related macular degeneration. Peter recently celebrated his 100th birthday, and with this accomplishment, we thought it worthwhile to catch up with him and hear about his experiences in life and with his vision since the film. Speaking of the film, if you haven't watched it yet, you should definitely watch it before this video, as this is a follow-up video. The film provides so much important context to the lives of individuals living with vision loss outside of just Peter, and I think it's definitely worthwhile to pursue before getting into interviews like these. Anyway, here's the interview. Today, here we have Peg Rinaldi as well as Peter D'Elia, who were both featured in Going Blind, Coming Out of the Dark about vision loss. And here we're trying to follow up and see what's been going on with both of them since the film was made. So it's nice to have you. Also, Peter, congratulations on your 100th birthday.
Thank you.
I was curious, I know in the film there's a point in time where you have a procedure that gives you a lot of your vision back. I'm curious from the film until now how much more vision you've lost, if any.
What's happened is I've lost reading. I can't read. That's the only thing that I've lost. But distance is fine. I can see in the distance. And my right eye is the same as always has been. That's where we found out where the problem was my right eye. And they've done a beautiful job in keeping my vision I can see. But the only unfortunate thing that happened just like that. I couldn't read anymore. And so they had new glasses made that had to bring the glasses to a book or newspaper that high. And all it did was put pressure on my eye, and I don't use it at all.
From the years that have passed, you could say that most of the vision loss that you have experienced, or the effects to your vision that you've experienced, are mostly based on the actual off of AMD itself rather than aging. Because I think a lot of times, it can be confusing whether or not some of the afflictions that you're having are due to just like natural aging processes or AMD itself. But it seems like you're saying you've been doing pretty well.
Well, the injections are working on me all the time. It's preserving the fact that I can see distance and all, and that I don't get the macular degeneration again in this left eye. They're really taking care of it. And that also happened from the New York doctor in the eye and ear hospital there. He's the one that really did the first time of giving me a shot, and scared the hell out of me for a minute, because when you put that needle into you, but you never feel it. You do a beautiful job.
Yeah, it does seem definitely scary. I remember watching the parts of the film that have a little bit of the medical procedure in it and always wincing a little bit because I was like, I don't know if I could do that. Do you feel like, though, then since the past 15 years have passed, do you feel like the medical treatment has gotten better? Or do you feel like it's around the same?
Well, I would say it's about the same. It hasn't changed. I mean, the vision is good and all that. The only thing is, as I said, I can't read, that's all. That happened just overnight, just like that. I was reading real well, and then when they got the book out to read, I couldn't see a damn thing.
And has the treatment gotten better? Like the doctors, do you feel like the medical procedures have increased in like effectiveness?
I did ask the doctors why. Why did my reading come? And there was no explanation why. They no one told me why. It's surprising. I mean, I hope I'm the first one that this has happened to. So maybe should to do a survey on, has this affected someone else besides Peter?
That'd be a good question for sure. Do you think that there's a chance that it may come back? Because I know that Joe, with his glaucoma, there are days where he has sight loss that goes back and forth, where there are days he feels like he can't do some things and the days where he feels like he can. So do you think that there's potential that your reading ability will come back?
I would hope so.
It hasn't happened yet, though, has it?
Yeah. You know, I have three things. One, you hold in your hand and read. That's pretty hard to do because you only get a certain amount of reading on it.
Mhm.
Then I have another one, which is larger, but it's plastic, not glass. And when you bring it up close or away from me, it's still very difficult to understand what it's all about. And I was a damn good reader. I used to read 2-3 books at one time. And I can't even read a scale. As an architect, I can't even read the scale that's there anymore.
That brings up two questions for me. One, are you still working as an architect?
No, those days are gone forever. But I had up close to 60, 70 years of it, though. I enjoyed every bit of it.
That's wild. I think it's amazing determination that you show in the film, and also like a willingness to work through the things that you were experiencing to be able to continue working as an architect through the course of losing your vision. I thought that was really inspiring.
He's very willing to give his advice on projects, though.
The passion never leaves. You've talked about like how much of an Advent reader you were. Do you feel like, and you also talk in the film about how you felt a little bit frustrated at the time. Has that frustration, are you still feeling frustrated and a little anxious about the fact that you've lost so much vision or that you were losing vision at the time? Or do you feel like that frustration and anxiety subsided?
I just was accepting these things, what's happening, you know. And only thing I can't find, I like to know why it happened. That's the only thing I like to know.
Mm-hmm.
And no authors that ever explained it to me why.
No.
And I guess they don't know themselves either.
I think
Otherwise you would tell me.
I think in their own way they have described it to you, but you didn't want to hear it.
Well, maybe not. Maybe that could be true.
Maybe the doctors have a little bit of separation there. Maybe it's just like a lack of the ability to translate, which is unfortunate. Peg, I had a question for you. Like watching your husband lose vision, I'm curious how you had to cope with that and how you're currently coping with that. And also what advice you might have for like partners helping people who are losing their vision.
It's very disturbing because he was such an avid reader and he can't even read the newspaper anymore, and he always enjoyed that in the morning. And it's happened so slowly over the years. Some days it'd be very frustrating to me that I can't tell him to go sit down and read a book or something. But you have to have a lot of patience and understanding what he's going through.
What about you? How have you dealt with that?
I've tried all different ways and brought him to different places like the Lighthouse and places into Boston, NECO, New England School of Optometry, and I've just tried working with him over it and trying to understand what he's going through.
If you give me something where I can sit down and read a book, I'd be so happy. I'd be happy. I hate television because it's too darn many commercials. And so I don't look at television that much. maybe the news, that's about it, or a sports program. But they still, television is what makes me happy. I like sitting down, reading a book, and not bothering anyone, sitting in a corner and doing things.
Oh, have you tried audiobooks? Have you used any audiobooks before?
You know, funny, you're the second person that's told me that. And they said, why don't you try it, Peter? I never tried it. I'm just wondering what the feeling is to sit down and maybe someday I'll try it. Just
I mean,
wanna think about it.
Yeah, it can be relaxing. And also, I mean, a lot of people do it like, I know a lot of seeing people use it as like a way to pass time, like on their drives to work or like even sometimes at the gym. But even just like laying down or sitting down, listening to an audiobook, if there's something that you really want to read or hear be read, it can be like a nice experience to read it, especially some of like narrative audiobooks have like character voices. So people will voice act the characters that they're speaking as, which can add like a whole new dimension to whatever book you're reading.
He wears 2 hearing aids, and I think he's wondering how we would be able to hear.
Mm.
But if you have some decent earpieces, I'm sure they would work.
Or you
I
could
might
play it
try
aloud.
something.
You could play it like if you have your hearing aids and maybe you could just play it aloud from the computer potentially, just like with the volume up. I think that would probably work.
Oh, okay. I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Okay. I might try it just to prove to myself that I was wrong and not accepting it. And it might be a good idea. You're not the first one to tell me that.
Speaking of like audiobooks, that'd be a great example of potential things that you've used to like help you get past with your vision loss. Like obviously in the film, there are people with like seeing eye dogs, people walking with canes, which Joe uses now. He uses a cane when he goes out. And then also there's JAWS, which was the program that people use to like read their computer to them. I was curious if you had like any programs or pieces of equipment that help you with your vision loss.
No, he doesn't.
Mm.
I've never heard of that JAWS.
Yeah, it's a program that some people have for their computer, like the text on their computer to be read aloud to them. And it's gone through probably multiple iterations since the film came out, but I know that I got an email from somebody the other day who was using it currently when we were giving out Going Blind for World Sight Day. Have you ever considered maybe, is there anything that you might want to use or anything that interests you besides JAWS that you're interested in using for helping with your vision loss?
Oh, anything. And if somebody can come up with a good way for me to use something to read, I'd be so happy.
Mm.
I mean, you have to, I guess, that surprises me too. Here it is, I'm not the first one this has happened to. I mean, it's probably happened to many people years ago. You would think that by that time they would come up with something really, really good. Maybe they will.
I had another question that I just thought of, but I think I lost it. Oh, I was curious if you felt like over time things have changed, like technologically wise, like how you feel about how technology has changed to benefit people suffering from low vision or people who are blind.
Well, all these hard to say what they've done in time that's important.
They have so many different devices that
Yeah,
they've come
that's
up
it.
with.
Yeah, I've seen them these whole large, big glass on like this and all. It's very frustrating, I think, to go back and forth like this.
They also have the large machines that are almost like
Yeah,
a
that's the
computer.
trouble. Yeah.
And since he's not computer savvy, even with the keyboard, he backs away from them.
Mm.
But
They've done quite a lot of things, but it's really, they haven't hit it yet. I don't know. That's what I look at. Someday they will,
as far as Peter's concerned,
and I'm hoping they will, because if you lost your sight, it's sad. It's sad that you. Peggy has to write a check. She has to write it for me because I can't see what the hell I'm writing. And newspaper, I'll get the newspaper. What does this say? I mean, it's sad that I can't find that for myself.
Frustrating, Peter.
Yeah. And
I'm sure overall that all these new devices that have come out over time since the film, that have helped a tremendous amount of people
oh God, yeah.
that are maybe younger, that are trying new things and know their keyboards and all that.
Yeah. Just like the program that Joe did, You're Going Blind, so many things that they talked about in there, which is true, and what they've done with it. I think he's done a beautiful job in what he's been doing, which we continue to do what he is doing. I had an aunt who had glaucoma, and she was walking on the sidewalk. She was killed by a car that was backing out of the driveway. She didn't see this car at all. So, I mean, these are things that we have to try to help them do. So you can tell Joe that he does a beautiful job.
I will let him
do a
know.
beautiful job.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that an effort should definitely be made because obviously there are a lot of technological advancements, but an effort should definitely be made to make it more accessible to people who
Right.
don't have the experience with that technology. Right now, it's kind of isolated.
Well, I'm 100 years old. My back hurts out, my ears are out, my eyes are out, but my heart is still going good. That's okay. The doctors are doing a good job.
You got the heart of a warrior. You showed that when you were doing architecture into your 80s.
Yes, they've done a good job for me. They had the American Legions done a beautiful job appreciating my services in overseas in World War II. They was aboard USS Constitution, which is the oldest ship in the Navy, which is I was on, and they gave me
Honored you. Yeah.
big medals and all that. And people, wherever I go, in a restaurant, they buy me drinks. They send me meal, things to get a meal for the services I've done.
Credit
It's so nice that some people respect this.
I'm going to ask you the last question that I had, which is kind of a big one, so take your time answering. But I'm just curious throughout this whole journey of vision loss as a partnership and as individual people, what you've learned.
I guess accept these things. It's happening that I'm hoping that someday they'll come out the right thing for me. That's all. It's not their fault that I'm going blind. It just happened. But I'm hoping that they come up with something for other people. I'm in the last stage of my life. So I've had a wonderful life. I can't complain. I did a lot of reading, a lot of drawing, and all that piece. So I left a legacy behind me also that my children have seen, other people have seen. I met beautiful people too because architecture, what I did. So I can't complain. I hope that somewhere along the line they come up with something real good. They will. It's going to come someday.
Peg?
I have learned that there are so many wonderful people out there in respect to the way Peter has been treated, I think, especially with his work, the appreciation. Sometimes you just look at a house and say, oh, that's the way I wanted it. And, but they just appreciated everything he had done for them. And quite often rewarded him when it was finished. And the way that he has spent this past year with celebrating his birthday has been amazing. Again, at the people that have approached him and been a part of has been wonderful. And seeing him appreciate it also has been wonderful.
Yeah, it's been a good life. Can't complain. Can't complain.
I think I appreciate the fact that we are still together at this age and has, like you say, been able to experience this together and appreciate it, and the love that's out there has been wonderful. Doctors that, comment on it, and even in the hospital yesterday, one of the nurses said, "I saw you on TV," and that everybody just appreciates everything.
Yeah.
So it's been a good run, as Peter says.
Yeah, I had a good run in life. Met the nice, very, very nice people. And as far as I'm concerned, both you and Joe are doing a good job. And thank you for this, Jeremy. I hope I don't give you better news than that.
You guys, it was amazing. I really thank you for the call. I really appreciate you making the time for me and being able to give your
I didn't think
perspective.
about it. I didn't think about it. I could have gone downstairs and put a picture of a house, one of the houses.
Maybe he'll take a ride out someday.
We can always have a follow-up call. This doesn't have to be the only time.
Yeah.
Well, it was nice talking to you guys. The meeting's about to end, so I'm going to say my goodbyes now. If there's anything that you'd like to say to the people who may be watching this video, you can say it in the next right now.
There's nothing I can say. I'm very emotional.
Very emotional right now. Yeah.
But I hope it helps people, whatever you're doing. That's all I care.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the interview. Peter isn't the first and won't be the last person we catch up with. If you're interested in hearing some more, you should go to goingblindmovie.com. There, as well as other interviews, we have information about how to become part of the outreach. Going Blind is only one of multiple films by Closer Look Inc., a non-profit organization that works to minimize suffering, maximize empathy, and inspire action on health and social justice issues through the use of media. To help us fulfill our mission, or to hear the many other varied stories we tell, you should visit our website and also check out some of our other projects too. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you soon.